r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What is the stupidest fact you've heard about your country from a foreigner? Friend of mine was in China and got asked if any of his parents still work in concentration camps because he is German. I was asked if I live in a teepee. Half Native American. Nope, I'm not even on a res. Then they thought it might be illegal to not live on a res. Odd conversation that. Until I was like 10, I thought Native Americans were extinct. Everyone always talked about them like they were gone forever. I thought I'd never see one outside archaeology. I didn't meet an actual Native American until I was in my 20s. I can't tell you how many times people ask me what living in an igloo is like when they find out I'm from Alaska. I'm Japanese. I also happen to have a degree in linguistics. A guy at my work likes to show off to everyone by dropping cool facts about Japanese linguistics and culture. Social expectations, politeness, etc. The facts are always wrong. The one time I politely explained, he argued with me. I wasn't as polite the next time. And yes, there was a next time. Many next times. I and my co-workers are so sick of him, lol. A Russian woman told me that Americans are not allowed to talk about dinosaurs or we will go to prison. She also said I was too thin to be American. We both lived in Bangkok, but I don't think she had been around much. Do you have polar bears walking the streets? I've gotten this question a bunch of times. I always reply with yes, and that we keep moose as pets as well. Sweden. Same thing with Finland. I was called a typical ignoramus American by a group of Italian students when I refuted them and insisted that the Great Lakes are fresh water, not salt water. Also, they told me I was mistaken when told them that United States citizens do not have to produce passports to cross state lines. Edit, just to put my 2 cents in. I don't find either of these facts to be too terribly stupid. The stupidity arises from them insisting that I was the ignorant one when I corrected them. One of the funniest things ever is when people from Scotland try to convince tourists or even people online that haggis is an animal. Like there is an animal called a haggis that runs around in fields. It's funny because fake haggis are in some museums and foreigners will see pictures of them in museums and take it as gospel. That nobody here has dryers and we don't know what they're used for. I'm from Germany. We build them here since 1958. I had someone in Canada continuously tell me I was wrong when I corrected them about Ireland not being a part of the United Kingdom. I'm Irish. I was at the Bastille in line to watch some event. The lady next in line, once she found out I was from USA, told me that during World War II Americans were ecstatic that France was attacked and that we were hoping all the museums and landmarks would be wiped out. Laughing about it, I told her that wasn't the case. She was really surprised that I had any lucidity at all and was able to put sentences together. Convo was in English. I'm Jamaican and the rest of the world seems to think that automatically makes me black. I could be white, I could be Indian, I could be Chinese. Being Jamaican isn't a race, it's a nationality. Same as how being American doesn't make you white. It seems like people think Americans eat a lot of canned cheese whiz. I'm over 50 years old and can count on one hand how many times I've had it on a cracker. And I've never bought a can from the store in all my life. Somebody asked me in 2007 whether we still belong to the Soviet Union. They sincerely believed that the Soviet Union still exists. Next time he asks, tell Putin he needs to start using a map that was made after 1991. Indian here. A Danish manager asked me if our seasons are reversed because we live in the southern hemisphere. We don't. We live above the equator in the northern hemisphere. Why are you white? I'm South American. Also, why do you speak English? Most Americans think Brits have bad teeth, but the decayed missing filled teeth index ranks the UK as the 4th best in the world. Trump stated in 2020. You look at countries, Austria, you look at so many countries. They live in the forest, they are considered forest cities. So many of them. And they don't have fires like this. And they have more explosive trees. As an Austrian I can confirm that we do not live in the forest. Our trees do not explode under normal circumstances. We do not have fires like this. That we don't exist, Australia. I asked someone from Inner Mongolia. So do you guys like ride horses to work? We take the bus. Not my proudest moment. 20 or so years ago, my family's very distant relatives in Germany were genuinely concerned about coming to the United States because they thought Native Americans scalping people was a common threat we had to look out for in the United States. I guess they watched a lot of westerns. That Philippines is LGBTQ friendly. It's not. I have lived in Japan and China. Here's a few. Japan. What language do you speak there? Canada language? She literally said Canada go. China. From a girl, she was 29 at the time. So, is Canada the same government as the United States? From my mother-in-law. I'm very worried, very worried. My friend showed me an article. He says in the article that in Canada, when you turn 65, they kidnap you and bury you alive because you are not producing for society anymore and everyone is too poor to support you. From my mother-in-law. There is nothing like this outside of China. Being in China is very good. Do you have this in your country? We're on a popular commercial street in a tier 1 city in China. The only other major city outside of China she's been to is Singapore, and she thinks that is also China. From a taxi driver. Do you have McDonald's? I've been asked if I know how to do the Gangnam Style dance at least once a month since the video came out. Yay for being part Korean I guess. Thailand here. I got a long list. I had an American pen pal in 5th grade growing up in Thailand. They asked if I rode elephants to school then proceeded to describe to me what a hamburger was. It doesn't get much better. When you get older the questions just get more sexually explicit. Westerners always making ladyboy comments or ping pong show stuff. I went to India a while back and the Starbucks barista was telling me how much he wants to go to Pattaya and see the ladies. In fact most of the men I interacted with in India gave me a smirk and basically started asking me about prostitutes. I think a lot of people seem to think our entire country is a brothel. Although this isn't unique to just India, it was brought up without hesitation there. Outside of the red light districts my country is quite nice and quite frankly probably a much nicer place than most outsider realize. I don't know why, but I have had many Canadians ask why we drink warm beer in England. We do not. I have no idea why they think that. A couple from India once said to me, "We heard all Americans love Coca-Cola. Is that true?" I'm Welsh, so I've been told I don't exist. My language is dead. I'm part of England. I'm not part of the UK. I'm practically a slave and inherently stupid as per my nationality. It's a wild ride. I've been asked if I live with lions and elephants. Also, there aren't any white people there. I'm South African and live in Cape Town. Dutch. An Austrian teen tried to convince me that hard drugs were legal in my country. My dude, weed is hardly legal here. Yeah, it's quite easy to find all kinds of drugs I'm sure, but they're not legal. Long ago, when I was living in Japan teaching English, all my students were convinced that there were celebrities everywhere in the United States, and that I was friends with them, because I'm from California. And because I'm of two backgrounds. People honestly believe that people in my parents' country ride camels all day and chop off hands when the law is broken. Mother sucker no. They ride Toyota pickups and shoot people with AKs. But seriously, no one does either. I don't fault people for believing these things due to all the propaganda and vitriol, but it does get exhausting. Colombian here. People think drugs like cocaine are sold freely. Like dude, you don't want to be in a Colombian jail. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.